to bring in Florida Congressman Mike Haridopolos. Congressman, so much to get to with you. We're going to get to DHS funding in a moment. We do want to start, though, with what we're seeing, again, the markets are reacting to, and that is this situation with the Iranians. What do you make of this pause of the strikes on the energy sector? And do you think that this is the right negotiating strategy with Iran?
Well, as your business expert just talked about, the quicker we can come to a resolution with Iran, the quicker we can get back to those lower oil prices that we've been enjoying since President Trump was reelected into office. This, of course, people have been hard hit by these increases, but we saw this as an aberration, taking on a long-term problem since 1979, and we're optimistic that we can get back to the energy production we've been making, not just here in America, of course, the new opportunities in Venezuela, and finally having some stability in the Middle East now that we've really knocked out Iran's ability to project power in the Middle East.
Well, there's a great op-ed this morning in the Wall Street Journal, Don't Let Iran's Hostage Takers Win. And the editorial board of the Journal makes the case that at this point, ending the conflict now would be short-sighted, and that it's time to finish the job because Iran is betting that the energy market turmoil is going to lead Mr. Trump to end the war before our objectives are fully met. How do you feel about this report, though, that we're going to be sending more troops to the Middle East? That could mean ground troops. There's reports that the administration is looking to overtake some of the Iranian islands. Are you comfortable with that, sir?
I'm very uncomfortable with any idea of bringing ground troops into the Middle East. As you know, the challenges we had in Iraq and other places, they've been historically challenging. Even the Reagan years in Beirut, etc. But I think what the president wants to do is exert maximum pressure on whoever's left in Iran to run the country. And we want to have a situation where what's our primary goal? Take out the ability for Iran to project power so they can no longer fund terrorist groups, etc., and have stability in the region, which has never happened in my lifetime. And so I think the president is just trying to exert maximum power. He's trying to not knock out, of course, the oil refineries and so forth and tanker facilities because he wants to still have the ability, of course, to extract the oil from that part of the world and continue to drive down costs. So I always give a lot of, let's just say, leeway to the president in the short term as long as he's talking about knocking out using air power, but ground troops are where I draw the line.
All right. Well, we shall see if these reports are true. And again, that $200 billion funding request by the Pentagon is certainly something that you and your colleagues are going to have to do. But today you've got another job because overnight, this is about 2 a.m. Eastern time this morning, not even 4 hours ago, Senate lawmakers passed a bill to fund most of the Department of Homeland Security. This includes TSA after weeks of chaos and delays at the airports. Now, this funds most of DHS, but it excludes ICE enforcement, removal operations, and parts of Customs and Border Protection. It doesn't include any immigration reform that originally was requested by the Democrats. It now heads to you. The series of votes begins at 10 a.m. Eastern time. You convene at 9 a.m. Before leaving for 2 weeks, Congressman. You requested yesterday that your pay be withheld until the shutdown is over. So that was certainly, I think, a grand gesture. The gesture today is whether or not you're going to agree to pass the Senate's version of the funding bill. Are you in favor?
Yes, I'll be voting for it. And look, we need to end the chaos here that once again the Democrats inflicted on the country. You saw it last fall where they shut down the government for no result. Same thing happens. All their so-called reforms were just giveaways to illegals. We're not going to give in to those crazy ideas. We're going to be smart about continuing to take the worst of the worst off the American soil. And Cheryl, as you know, there's a website called wow.dhs.gov. It outlines the crimes committed by illegal aliens once they got here. And they're horrific crimes, as we're hearing about every day. You saw just the recent examples over the last 2 days. This is why we're going to continue to stay tough and make sure that ICE agents can extract these people who have been doing harm to our neighborhoods. And when the Democrats turn their back on their own local communities. And so we're going to fund this. And again, so people are wondering, ICE has been funded since 2029. This was much to do about nothing. This was typical Democrat pandering to the ultra-left because they're afraid of losing a primary to the ultra-left.
We had some new Fox News polls that came out last night, and the president is still winning when it comes to border security. That is still the highest-rated mark that he gets from the American public. They want a secure border, to your point. I do want to ask you about this. There's some momentum building here among congressional Republicans to use budget reconciliation for new immigration enforcement funding, including for ICE and CBP. Now, Leader Thune said, quote, it's a good possibility as Senate Budget Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham urges his committee to start that process. It would also fund the Pentagon's $200 billion supplemental request for Iran, plus parts of Save America, that act, Congressman. I want to get your thoughts on that.
We found out that Democrats do not want to govern. Last night was another classic example. They got nothing from the shutdown. We're going to have to use reconciliation again to affirm what the American public wants. And we're going to do as much as we can. And we're also going to go after fraud in reconciliation. We've seen the rampant fraud all across the country in primarily blue states, whether it be hospice, of course, in California, or, of course, the Leering centers in Minnesota. We have to aggressively go after these people who are stealing money, and sadly, a lot of them are illegal immigrants who are gaming the system. And we also want to make sure, as you mentioned, that ICE is fully funded and we take care of the basics. We're in a conflict with Iran, and we need to make sure that we're protecting the homeland after those two incidents in Michigan, one in Virginia, and, of course, these actions that are taking place too often.
Real quick before you go, any chance that the vote today goes into tomorrow for DHS?
There could be. I don't know if it will or not. I can't wait to vote and get the government fully operational. After all, you and I are paying taxes. We should get the services we're paying for and eliminate these ridiculous lines created by Democrats by playing games again with people's lives.
Congressman Mike Haridopolos, wonderful to have you this morning. You're our first voice today on this new news. Appreciate your time, sir.
Always a pleasure. Have a great weekend.